My testing desk has been looking pretty dull of late. I mean, it's where I spend a lot of my time benchmarking pretty much everything you see on the channel, and so since Corsair sent over their LS100 lighting strips, I thought this would be a good time to check them out, throw them on there and kind of pimp my setup a bit and see what these things are all about. So first we need to see what's in the box. Now as you can see here, I do have both the starter kit and some expansion kits, but because I'm only be setting up on one monitor, I'm just going to be using the starter kit for now. Inside that box is a sort of mini Corsair lighting node, has two channels which I think, if I remember rightly, can have something the order of 4 or 5 of the longer LED strips per channel, so that's nice. Also a power brick, it's actually a 25 watt or 5 amp 5 volt power brick, which is kind of crazy for a couple of LED strips. Also the LED strips themselves, of course, and a few extra connectors, a USB cable to connect the lighting nodes to the PC and all that good stuff. The strips themselves are actually kind of weird. Normally LED strips are pretty wide and flat, but these are incredibly tall and actually pretty narrow. They have a very thick diffusion layer on the top, which does mean you get very kind of soft light coming off them, but does mean they're also pretty long. In terms of the way that they mount to the back of your monitor, they include small metal pads effectively that have 3M adhesive on the back. I'm using a bit of tape here to set them up so that I can remove these without having to scratch the back of my monitor to hell, but if you were permanently mounting them, you would just stick these pads to the back of your monitor and then they magnetically attach the strips when you sort of place them over the top. Once you've got all of the strips attached to the back of your monitor, you can then go about plugging them into the controller. I've connected them in series here, so it's just one of the 2 channels on the controller I'm using, and then all you do is you plug in the controller for power and USB, and then download iCUE, and you're pretty much ready to go. Once it's all set up, you can see the difference it makes. It goes from a pretty dark and dingy corner to something that is a lot more live and vibrant. Of course, if you're not a fan of RGB, as I know some of you are, then this... well, honestly, why are you watching this product? It's exclusively about RGB, but otherwise, this is an interesting look for you. You can use a lot of different modes here. Now, by default, it's set to the rainbow mode, where it's sort of doing a sort of snake around the outside of your monitor, but if you wanted to change that around, you can use the iCUE software to set up quite a few different modes. Now, you have your usual lighting modes for rainbow or waves or anything else, but where it gets interesting and where it's actually what I wanted to look at was the video and audio lighting mode specifically. Now the video mode is probably the most interesting. Basically, iCUE takes a look at what's on your display and then averages out the colors for each of the sort of edges, and then will display that color on the LED strips. Now, it makes it very obvious that that's happening when you have the Windows background, like Windows default background, as that's just bright blue and therefore the wall behind you becomes bright blue. But in games, it can be a little bit more difficult to tell, as especially stuff like CSGO, which is what I was playing, tends to use quite a muted color palette, and so I ended up just having a bit of a kind of cream light on the walls while I was playing games. And then there's the audio mode, which works basically the same as the video mode, but for audio. It's actually very similar to those old school like Spectrum views that you can used to have with different songs, and effectively it just flashes the lights in different colors depending on what frequencies and volume it's hearing. It can be pretty flickery and jittery almost, which is not necessarily the nicest experience to have, but it is cool to see. You also do have a couple of extra sort of different modes. You have fireplace mode, which is kind of cool. I think the colors are slightly off for me personally, and being able to change those colors would be nice, but still it's kind of cool. And there's Borealis mode, which is sort of simulating the northern lights. And again, it's a little bit too flickery for my personal taste, but it's still kind of nice for a calm and cool vibe. So are the LS100s worth the, wait, what? £90 for some freaking LEDs? What? Gee, wow, that's a lot. So the good news is that you could go and buy a set of LED strips like the one that's behind me for like £15. You'd get way more of them. You could do any device and you would still have, like rainbow effect and all that stuff. The bad news is that if you want to DIY the whole like what's on your screen gets displayed around you sort of ambient lighting, that tends to cost a bit more. In fact, you'd probably end up spending about the same amount of money that it costs to buy one of these kits if you wanted to use that. The only main downside to going with the Corsair version, besides its immediate price tag, is that it only works when you have iQOO installed, and iQOO is only available for Windows and Mac, and while in theory you could maybe get it running for Linux, it means that you can't run it on, say, your TV if you want to, or anything else. It has to be on your PC and on your monitor. So that is the Corsair iQOO LS100s. They're definitely expensive for just being LED strips. Obviously, they are a very, I guess, integrated and seamless solution, so all you do is you plug them in, that's it, it works. The ambient lighting thing is super simple to do, just a couple of clicks in iQOO. Obviously, the pricing is something that they're really aiming this for the high-end market when you've already spent, you know, a few £1,000s, I assume, on your PC, and you're willing to, you know, pimp it out a bit more. But either way, it's certainly an interesting solution, even if it's a bit pricey. With that said, those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours in the comments down below. Are you completely anti-RGB, as I know some of you are? Feel free to let me know. Or would you actually pick one of these up? Does the price not deter you? Anything at all, do let me know in those comments down below. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, do hit that subscribe button with the bell notification icon. You can also check out the rest of the links in the description down below, including one for the LS100s. It's an Amazon affiliate link, but it will take you to your local Amazon store where you can see pricing when and where you watch this, because who knows, they might be cheaper by the time you watch this, or maybe in different countries they're cheaper, so do take a look. You can also check out the rest of the links. There's stuff like Streamlabs OBS if you want to start streaming, Amazon and Overclockers UK affiliate links, which don't cost you anything to use, but massively help me out when you do use them. Merch for hoodies or t-shirts like this one, or Patreon if you want to get cool rewards and support me directly, and a load of other stuff down there too. Otherwise, that is pretty much it. If you want to check out some more videos, I'll leave them over there for you. And if you've got any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments down below, and we'll see you all in the next video.